people become too comfortable. They stop trying. They stop doing the things that we talked about that they were doing at the beginning of the relationship when they had first met.
Anything that'll set you that makes you comfortable, it's just gonna be the death of anything. But there's a whole other set of pages to write in your journey, in your book that you're writing with your partner.
Yeah.
It's just because you're married, it's not the end of the story. That's just the next chapter.
If you kind of feel like you've been going through the motion, doing the same thing here and there, do something out of the norm.
Try to live the healthiest life for yourself. You don't care about what you put in your body. You don't care about how you move and your function. That's just lowering your lifespan because, dude, as heavy as you want to be and as beautiful, whatever, dude, I get it. But long term, that's not healthy and it's not going to be good for you. Start with yourself. Do what makes you happy and try to be the best version of yourself. And a fit body is a healthy body, and a healthy body is a healthy mind. Healthy minds create healthy relationships. But it all starts with yourself and the choices that you make.
Comfort is the death of a relationship. I think this is definitely a big one, and can cause a lot of relationships to kind of detriment and kind of like stalling a little bit because we're talking about comfort is the death of a relationship and how it affects people and how it could be like detriment for a lot of couples because people become too comfortable. They stop trying. They stop doing the things that we talked about that they were doing at the beginning of the relationship when they had first met. And so I feel like a lot of relationships after a while become stagnant, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to write this chapter. So I'm curious to see what you think about it.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree, and this reminds me of one of my old coworkers where he thought he had it all. I think we had talked about it a little bit earlier. But yeah, he thought he had it all. He was married. He had a kid. He had his kid already, and his wife had her kid. And I don't think they wanted to have kids together. Maybe they were. I don't really remember. But the point of it was, he had a house. He had a decent job, and he thought, man, I made it. So then he kind of just wasted away his relationship, coming home from work, sitting on the couch, watching TV and drinking a beer like every single day. Like he even knew the spot. Like he's like, oh yeah, I had a spot. I would sit and I would just sit there and watch TV and drink my beers, and I wouldn't even pay attention to her. And it's like, dude, you got very comfortable a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We talk about how much effort is involved in order to consistently nurture a relationship. Because there's one thing just getting the partner and finally dating them, taking them out. There you go from boyfriend, all this bullshit. Then whether you're married or not, but you take a serious relationship. I mean, that doesn't mean that you're already done. There's a whole other set of pages to write in your journey, in your book that you're writing with your partner.
Yeah.
And so just because you're married, it's not the end of the story. That's just the next chapter. And so that requires more effort as well. So obviously, anything that'll set you that makes you comfortable, it's just going to be the death of anything.
For sure. Whether that is training, whether that is in your career, your relationship,
life.
So life in general, yeah, you want to keep challenging yourself. You want to keep pushing, and that does include relationships. And so if you kind of feel like you've been going through the motion, doing the same thing here and there, do something out of the norm, right? If you are maybe take off a weekday and do something that you haven't done with your partner if you're in a relationship. Go to a new spot instead of going to the same restaurant. Funny enough, by the time this is gonna come out, I will have gone. So I've been wanting for the longest to go and do some salsa lessons with my lady.
We've been talking about that too.
And so that's one thing that I'm planning on doing. By the time this is out, we already would have done it. And so something we have never done, salsa. But you know what? It'll be a nice little date night.
Yeah.
You learn something new. Can't be too crazy expensive, but I think it'll be fun, And so these are the things that you want to do. Keep things spicy, keep things interesting, and kind of almost like jumpstart the relationship again after a while. If it's just kind of been doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I think because we talked about it before. In life, we're always learning, growing, and like discovering new things about us. And especially when you're in a relationship, not only is that person also going on their own path of learning, discovering, also finding new things that they like and they dislike. But then there's also things of the relationship that kind of cross over amongst both of you. So you're obviously growing and they're growing. Together, there's growth that's happening there as well. And for example, one of the things that we do, it's funny because my girlfriend, she's Hispanic. Well, her parents are Hispanic, so by way she is also. But she doesn't really speak that much Spanish.
Sure.
So she wants to get better, but she's nervous, she's scared. So now it's like I'm trying to make more of a scheduled meeting, I guess you can call it, for us to come together, practice some Spanish, have more conversational. So it's more or less how you and I are talking right now. And I'll speak to you in Spanish, and then you're going to respond to me in English. I'll be like, okay, this is how you would say it in Spanish. Practice. That way in your head, you can think of what it is in English. But if I'm telling you exactly what it is in Spanish, you're like, okay, these are the words that match based on what I'm trying to say. Now I know how to respond when it's presented.
Correct.
So in one of those things, she was very like uncomfortable. She felt stupid. She was embarrassed. Like, she's almost like, oh, because I don't know how to speak Spanish, like, you're gonna make fun of me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, am I gonna make fun of you, dude? Like, this is something that we could just challenge each other. And like, I'm trying to help you, you know, like, and for that, it almost like she was super uncomfortable. But I also think that because she sees how involved I am, it allows us to constantly be growing, learning, and it also allows us to engage a little bit more too. Also, my family is very, very Hispanic. They only speak Spanish, and she defends herself, you know. But then she always says, "Man, I would love to be able to speak more, but because I get shy and embarrassed."
Sure.
You know, like, the only way we're gonna get over that is if you know how to speak Spanish. So now I give her credit because she's trying. You know, she really put in the effort, and I'm super proud of her. And it also makes me happy as well. So it's almost like reciprocated, you know, by us putting that whole challenge, I guess, together. Me trying to teach her and her trying to learn, it also just helps us grow together as well. And I think that's actually really healthy for both of us.
I love that. Yeah, it's good, you know, because it's like you both well, you're not learning something new. She is, but
I'm learning how to teach.
Yeah, which is sometimes even harder than
I think
could be speaking.
Not just well, let me my Spanish has gotten better. I mean, it's not perfect, but it also helps me not only better my Spanish, but it also helps me better coaching someone or better teaching someone how to properly communicate and be able to set up examples and kind of show and educate properly for them to really understand. I mean, it's kind of like a different thing altogether. Me trying to just kind of have that sort of communication. So
yeah,
an extra skill for me.
I like
as well.
that. I like that. Yeah, when I had, and also like in the last bit before we kind of close out, also because another aspect of that comfort as a different relationship is when people, we've talked about this countless times, they let themselves go, right? They become too comfortable in the relationship. They gain weight. They stop eating healthy.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Of course, that was one of the key points that I brought up too, and that I had written about it in the book, and then of course I elaborated even more, where it's like, and life happens, you know, people get sick, there's conditions and pregnancies and all that stuff. That's normal, and it's part of life. It's part of a relationship. But then there's those times where people just kind of like, they stop caring, right? And it's like, don't blame anybody else but yourself on the fact that you decided to stop going to the gym.
About that earlier.
You decided to stop eating healthy, and
choice is yours.
The choice is yours. And 9 times out of 10, gaining weight is up to you, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not talking about the exceptions, but I'm talking about the normalities that are happening, especially in this country. But yeah, you have to take accountability.
Yeah, and I love how you brought that up because we talk about fitness and health a lot, and I'm glad that we transitioned into that this year because I feel like most people think that we're kind of assholes for almost, I don't want to say we're shaming, but I feel like we make a really strong point as to how important physical health is and how that translates into everything else that you do in your life when it comes to your mental health, relationships, overall just feeling your best. And yeah, to your point, a lot of people, they get comfortable and they let themselves go. And that is just that's an issue with the character of the person at that point, because it's not so much that you're letting yourself go and then you think that your partner is going to leave you because you're overweight and you're a fat fuck. The problem is that translates to everything else. So you were able, like, you let yourself down, you know? You let yourself get that way. You're the one that gave up on yourself. How am I going to really trust someone like you when you can't even stand up for yourself? You can't even try to live a the healthiest life for yourself. You don't care about what you put in your body. You don't care about how you move and your function. That's just lowering your lifespan because, dude, as heavy as you want to be and as beautiful, whatever, dude, I get it. But long term, that's not healthy and it's not going to be good for you. So if you're not even going to put yourself first and look after yourself, it just says enough about me. It says enough about you of what you think about me then. Yeah. It's like you're not even doing it for yourself. So that's why we talk about health all the time and like physical health, because it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. So we talk about effort. If you're trying to be the best partner and putting your foot forward for them, it's like, dude, do it for yourself first. And that's kind of how we started the book and the course, everything that we did. Because it's like, start with yourself. Do what makes you happy and try to be the best version of yourself. And a fit body is a healthy body, and a healthy body is a healthy mind. Healthy minds create healthy relationships. But it all starts with yourself and the choices that you make.
Very well said. Yeah, yeah. I thought you were gonna get something else, but that was really good.
Yeah, I guess we can end it with that. I guess.
No,
You got
yeah,
anything
yeah.
else to say?
No, I mean it's 100% accurate because just more topping on it. But yeah, because especially when if you as a person you enjoy doing certain things, and then you did you did them together for so long, and then let's say the person lets themselves go, and it's like, well, I still want to continue to do those things, whether it's going exercising or doing certain activities
Hikes,
outside.
bike rides,
Yeah, yeah,
going
and it's like,
out. Maybe they're self-conscious now because you used to go to the beach
yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. Now they're overweight. I don't want to go to the beach no more. It's like, dude, now, like because of that, you change the whole dynamic.
And the minute you and like, so if I'm trying to like encourage you to lose weight and be fit, a lot of times, especially now in the society we live in, you
You're
get
the asshole.
pushback.
You're the asshole.
Yeah, and it's like, am I the asshole or you the asshole? Are you the asshole for letting yourself go, letting down your family? We have kids, we have a family. Are you gonna be around in 20 years? Am I gonna fucking die alone? Because you're gonna die before me. Because if you don't take care of yourself, it's obviously this is a dramatic example, but it does happen all the time.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to kind of top that off because you're accountable. Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, and
You know?
and to those who are probably in that situation, it's never too late to like try to get in shape. You can always try. And if you are in one of those situations and you are putting in the work of going to the gym and try to live your healthiest life, kudos to you, man. At least you're doing 100% better than the person who chooses not to even get up and show up. Okay, so don't feel ashamed of whatever situation you're in. But we kind of digress into this, but being comfortable will kind of does allow that, because then you think, well, I already got that. I don't have to worry about myself anymore. I don't have to try to look good anymore. I don't have to worry about my makeup. I don't have to worry about my fitness. I could do whatever I want, dress like a slob, not take it. Like, there's a lot that gets involved. And that's what happens when you kind of get comfortable. It's the death of everything.
Yeah.
Because not only is it the death of your relationship, because that just tells me that you just don't give a fuck, but it's ultimately going to be the death of you. And the longer you continue to, get overweight or whatever and not do anything about it, it's a shorter life you're going to be living.
For sure. I guess moral of the story, don't be a fat fuck. And never stop.
Don't be comfortable.
Becoming better, yeah.
I think that should be the moral of the story, guys.
Ciao, guys.
Till next time.